was watching Blue Peter as a kid, watched it every week. It was just kind of part of my life. So then one day, someone goes up and plays the drums, and I just remember screaming the house down. And I think it was just that magical moment of seeing someone that is like, they look like me, and they're playing the drums. I love the drums. I didn't really know the drums beyond the church context, and then suddenly it was on Blue Peter, and they said, you know, Paul Stanley Mackenzie just won, you know, Young Drum of the Year, which I didn't even know existed, kind of thing. And then they said, it was like a sentence that changed my life. He'll be performing at Drummer Live next week or something like that. And I was just like, I think my parents both saw, right, we need to figure out who Drummer Live is, where it is, and we need to take him, because this moment is... So it was a family day out. Mum, dad, and my younger brother, we all went, and I just remember just being like, I'm in heaven. Like, there are drumsticks everywhere. There are drum kits everywhere. I'm like this big, just like walking around excited. And I got like a tambourine. My dad bought me a tambourine, and I got my tambourine signed by every drummer that was there. I got every magazine that was free, every mint that was free, every drum key that was free, every single... I got all those Vic Firth lanyards, I got all those Sabian stickers, stuck them all over my wall. And yeah, and that was me, and that was it. Every year I'd go to the drum show with my parents until I was a teenager, and then I was allowed to get the train. That's when it went to Olympia. I was allowed to get the train to Olympia in London on my own with my brother. And it was a whole journey. Like, every year I met my heroes. I met Cora Dunham at the drum show. I met Chad Smith at a drum show. I just all like my heroes and stuff. And so then when I got an email like, do you want to play at the drum show? It wasn't just a big moment for me. It was a big moment for my whole family, because mum and dad were like, oh snap, that thing we used... The exact quote my mum said was, oh, that loud thing you used to drag us to. But it was a whole big, you know, I got the text messages in the morning like, congrats man, you made it to the drum show and stuff. I was playing the drums at a pub in London, in East London, called the Haggerston. And on a Sunday night, they have the most amazing jazz jam. Shane Forbes would be on drums, and every night I'd go and I'd sit behind the drum kit because I'd look at his feet and look at his wrists. So when you sit behind the drum, you get the most perfect like angle to see exactly what they're doing. I'd watch him till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then he would let me play like the last hour of the jam session or whatever. And that was me since I was a kid, every single week I'd do that. And then one day someone came up to me, heard me playing in the jam session, was like, oh, I really like the way you play. Who's your favourite drummer of all time? And I said, yeah, probably Tony Allen. And the guy laughed and said, are you being serious? I was like, yeah. And then he kind of walked off. And I just remembered thinking that was so weird. Like, why would you start a conversation to walk off? Then he walked back and he handed me a phone. I felt like it was something out like Mission Impossible or something, just given a phone. And I answered the phone. I don't remember, I didn't look at it. I just kind of like, hello. And then I heard this deep voice say hello. And I was like, oh, snap. I know that voice from the interviews. And I was just like, who is this? It's like, it's Tony Allen. It's like, no way. It's like, it's Tony Allen. And I was just like, so glad I had this moment. I was just so brave. I was like, you are my favorite drummer ever. I think you're incredible. Can you just teach me how to play the drums? He was like, yeah, come to my house and we'll learn to play the drums. I was like, oh, snap. And then I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come to your house. Text this number, your address. I'll be there on like Friday. And then I got an address, and I just never forget, I saw like Rue something. And that's when I worked out he lived in Paris. I'm a Londoner, so I think the whole world revolves around the M25. So when it was like, you gotta leave London, I was like, oh, snap. Got a ticket from the Megabus. There's like an £11 bus journey ticket. You get at Victoria at 10 p.m. You get to Paris at 6 a.m. I just walked around Paris for like hours. Because my lesson was at 4 p.m, but that was the cheapest bus. So I just walked around Paris for hours and hours and hours. I know Paris like really well because I just walk around all day. Met up with him at the New Morning Jazz Club, and they set up 2 drum kits for us. And then we just played drums together. And then that relationship just carried on and on and on and on. and until he sadly left us. But I'm just so grateful that I had that moment of bravery on the phone, and then what grew into like the most beautiful relationship. And then as I got older, Ezra Collective being so like Afrobeat inspired, we're getting booked in similar festivals on similar bills, so I'd see him frequently like at different festivals because he'd be playing and Ezra would be playing also and stuff. And that was really beautiful because he got to see me turn into a professional drummer from the like kid that was in music college. Do you know what I mean? Like when he passed away, as you can imagine, it was like losing, you know, like an uncle figure in my life. You know, he was a hero to me. So when he passed away, I was distraught. And then of course, such a big name passing away, immediately every news outlet wanted some sort of a comment or speech or interview, because a lot of people had known by that point I was his student and he didn't have many students. I was kind of like one of the only ones, you know. And I wasn't really in that headspace, but then I remember like my manager just saying to me, Fems, take a few days out and then let's revisit this after a few days, because you might regret not having said anything, you know. And then, you know, I took some time out and I did the Guardian interview, and I was really honoured to get to really talk about what he meant to me. And then I was also asked, he won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the AIM Awards, and so I was kind of like, all right, cool. They wanted to like do a tribute to him, but of course they wanted someone to play his parts. They asked me to do it, and that's when they said, would you mind playing the drums alongside Damon Albarn to the tribute? That is how I actually first played the drums with Damon. I'd met him a few times through Uncle Tony when they'd be on tour and stuff, but that the first time we played together was making that tribute together. And after that, it was like a really beautiful moment celebrating Uncle Tony. Like, I had a little whiskey in his name. There was a bottle that got made for him for his 80th birthday and stuff. And then, you know, ate Caribbean food, played table tennis, chilled all day. And then in the evening, Damon was like, so what are you saying? You want to play drums for Gorillaz? And I remembered thinking, well, he's just saying that because he knows it's my favourite band ever. He's just winding me up. Went home, and then I got an email a few weeks later from his manager like, yo, Damon wasn't joking. Like, are you around on these days? I was like, as in like, I can play Clint Eastwood, like that Gorillaz. They're like, yeah, it's you. It's like rocking. And that was it. That's how I got that job. I think with church, you get the really incredibly beautiful opportunity to see live music every single week as a staple. And there's nothing quite like live music. You can learn the drums in your room, you can watch YouTube, you can get so many great things from that. But to see it in real, in person, and then there's such a good culture of teach the next person in a church setting scenario. So there was a man called Rob Bennett, do you know what I mean? Closer to my dad's age than my own age, but he taught me the drums, you know, by way of I would watch him every day at church. And then one day he was like, I don't need this drum kit, gave it to me, and suddenly I've got something to play. And I think that culture of just watching someone growing up, learning to play, and then also when it's done well, there's something higher and bigger than you in the building that the music serves a purpose. It's not all about you, it's about people worshiping and praising God. If they can't clap the 2 and the 4 because you're soloing all the way, you're not doing the job correctly. And if they can't reflect and feel like they're in that kind of Christian presence, and I think that's really great musical training, because you learn very quickly, I'm just a servant of the greater good of this music. And I think if you apply that to a jazz context, you are serving the music. It's not all about Max Roach. You got to hear Paul Chambers, and you've got to hear Sonny Rollins, Miles Davis, whatever. Do you hear what I'm saying? So I think that's a big part to play. That's what it played for me anyway.
blessing.